TikTok CEO WHO was confronted by US lawmakers at a congressional hearing on Thursday over accusations of serving harmful content and causing emotional distress to young users. In his first appearance in front of the US Congress, WHO testified that while the vast majority of TikTok users are over the age of 18 and the company has taken steps to ensure youngsters are protected on the app, concerns were also raised regarding app's potential to threaten US national security by sharing its data with the Chinese government. WHO in his testimony said the app does not promote or remove content at the request of the Chinese government. This hearing comes at a crucial juncture when the Biden administration faces mounting pressure to ban this app over concerns of data privacy and national security. And a group of internet celebrities, influencers and activists held a banned TikTok event outside the US Capitol on Thursday. This happened while the platform's CEO faced tough questions from lawmakers who are concerned over the app's potential to pose as a national security threat. Those participating in the event included mothers who called for a TikTok ban as it had a bad influence on children. Some mothers also said that the fear of what their child is doing on the app keeps them up at night. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office wrote in a letter to 3 Republicans in the House of Representatives that Donald Trump created a false expectation of his arrest. The DA's letter also stated that Trump led Republicans in Congress to interfere with his office's probe. Bragg's office has alleged that 3 House committee chairmen sought non-public information about the pending criminal investigation concerning the former president, which is confidential under New York sovereignty and state law. Now, Elon Musk in a tweet has said that countries should not cede their authority. Urged by this to the WHO chief has fired back that the claim that the pandemic treaty would see nations relinquish any power is quite simply false and fake. Adding to this statement, Ghebreyesus also said that if any politician or business person was confused about what the accord is and isn't, they'd be more than happy to explain. After another shooting incident took place in the United States when a 17-year-old gunman injured 2 administrators in Denville's high school on Wednesday, several frustrated students and their parents gathered to protest at the Colorado State Capitol building on Thursday. The gunman's body was found near his car in a remote area, though the cause of his death has not been confirmed. Students taking part in the protest said that they are now scared to go to school amid increasing violence. Some 30,000 education workers backed by the teachers' union are rallying in LA and are calling for increase in wages. Strikes saw the cancellation of school for nearly 500,000 students in the second largest school district in the United States. Many of these students depend on schools for meals, counseling and other social services. LA's school superintendent has acknowledged workers have been underpaid for years and said that he was committed to reaching a deal. US President Joe Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden arrived in Ottawa for a 2-day visit. This is Biden's first visit to neighboring Canada after winning presidency more than 2 years ago. Biden's making a visit to close ally to express unity on Ukraine and the environment and is yet to see if the leaders make progress on tougher trade disputes. According to officials, Biden has also planned to have a brief meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's biggest political rival, who is leader of Canada's Conservative Party. European Union leaders held talks with UN Chief Antonio Guterres on Thursday on global food security and sanctions imposed on Russia over its invasion of Ukraine. They also endorsed a plan to supply more artillery shells to Kiev. EU chief said any new sanctions against Russia would mostly crack down on circumvention. UN chief's participation in the EU summit came days after the renewal of a deal brokered by the United Nations and Turkey on safe export of Ukrainian grain via the Black Sea that is seen as crucial to overcoming a global food crisis. Slovakia handed over the first 4 MiG-29 jets that it had pledged to donate to Ukraine, according to the country's defense ministry. Slovakia, a NATO member, last week joined Poland in announcing the delivery of jets to Ukraine. In total, Slovakia said it would donate 13 of the Soviet-made fighter jets, which Kiev believes are crucial to repel Russia's year-long invasion. According to ministry, the rest of the planes to be delivered will be delivered in the coming weeks. A ceremony in Helsinki on Thursday. Finnish President Sauli Niinisto signed the legislation needed for Finland to join NATO. Following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Finland sought membership into the military alliance in 2022. Legislation incorporating NATO's founding treaties were passed in Finnish parliament on the 1st of March. Hungary and Turkey, the only NATO nations yet to ratify Finnish membership into NATO, have both stated that they will do so soon. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak welcomed his Albanian counterpart to 10 Downing Street on Thursday. Sunak and Rama said they would discuss both countries' efforts to stem illegal migration. Albanians made up 42% of the people heading to Britain on small boats between May and September last year, according to the British government. Sunak said that the pair would also discuss economic cooperation, trade and security. Massive protests continue in France over pension reforms in a 9th day of nationwide protests. Train and air travel was disrupted in capital Paris. Demonstrators set trash ablaze. Some groups in the city smashed windows, demolished street furniture. Clashes ensued as riot police moved in and drove back the protesters with tear gas and stun grenades. Officials say at least 123 police officers had been injured and 80 people have been arrested across the country. Labour unions fear that protests could turn more violent if the government does not heed the growing popular anger over pension curbs. Protests also witnessed in Greece over French pension reforms. Hundreds of protesters gathered outside the French embassy in Athens to show solidarity with demonstrators in France. Protesters chanted slogans, held placards, while some said that France and Greece are united in the fight against elitists. Italy's Coast Guard has said that it rescued around 750 migrants in 2 separate operations off the country's southern coastline on Thursday. This came hours after at least 5 people died and 33 went missing in an attempted sea crossing from Tunisia. Italy's migrant sea rescue operations have come under scrutiny since a 26th Feb shipwreck, just in which at least 88 people had died. More than 10 remain missing still. Charities, opposition politicians, they've asked why Coast Guard vessels better equipped to face high seas were not deployed. Protests intensified in Israel over government's judicial reforms. Thousands of protesters marched to the city of Bnei Brak. Netanyahu's government, which includes religious and ultra-nationalist parties, is largely supported by the Orthodox community here. The protests escalated in Israel since the start of the year when Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government introduced new legislation that would limit the authority of the Supreme Court. Kosovo's Prime Minister said that the country will respect its international obligations and implement measures agreed last week as part of a deal aimed at normalizing relations with Serbia. Last Saturday, Kosovo and Serbia verbally agreed to implement a Western-backed plan on how to improve ties. Under the agreement, Kosovo is committed to give greater autonomy to areas of its country where Serbs are in the majority, while Serbia agreed not to block Kosovo's membership of international organizations. British anti-monarchists held up banners in front of the Coronation Hall in London decrying King Charles's upcoming coronation. The protesters held up yellow banners reading, "Would you vote for him?" Charles and his wife, Queen Consort Camilla, shall be formally crowned on the 6th of May, where kings and queens have been coronated for the better part of 1,000 years. Bolivian president has accused Chile of obstructing the free transit of Bolivian cargo after the Chilean government privatized its ports. The Bolivian government said Chile's privatization of ports was in breach of the 1904 peace treaty, as the measure would not guarantee the agreed obligation of free transit of Bolivian cargo through Chile's port facilities. Bolivia has complained several times about problems Bolivian traders and carriers face in transiting to Chile's ports. A forest fire raged in eastern Spain on Thursday, forcing several residents nearby to evacuate. Many decided to leave before even receiving an official order. According to local media reports, more than 1,000 people were forced to leave their homes. Emergency services said they had set up a refuge for about 600 people and a field hospital as well. Some of the locals blame the lack of prevention as one of the causes of the ecological catastrophe here. The fires burned more than 1,000 hectares of land, according to emergency services. Following the latest round of storm to Palmel, California, emergency crews rescued several large farm animals from mud in some parts. The animals who received help include horses, cows, goats and bulls. Rescue workers say the operation required heavy machinery to clear paths for the animals. Many gathered in Al-Aqsa compound in Jerusalem on the first day of the holy month of Ramadan, which began before sunrise on Thursday. People laying covers on the ground, setting up iftar and breathtaking sunset over the compound. And Muslims flock to Al-Aqsa compound from different parts of the country. In previous years, during Ramadan, clashes erupted between Israeli police and the Palestinians, particularly around the compound. Islam's third holiest site and also revered as the Temple Mount by Jews. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.